Thank you so much for joining us. First, I'd like to ask you about Greenland. What is the mood among some NATO allies about Trump's intentions for Greenland?
Collective security in the high north, in the Arctic, is very important. And of course, that's why also Latvia is able and willing to contribute if necessary. But at the same time, it is important, of course, to once more underline that Greenland is an integral part of Danish Kingdom, of Kingdom of Denmark.
And could this bring about the end of NATO, as the Danes have warned?
I would not over-dramatize. Of course, now we are in the process of discussing, especially the dialogue between the United States and Denmark. We see also in NATO sometimes there are some dialogues or discussions among countries. We know already for some time there is the discussion, interaction between Greece and Turkey, but it doesn't mean that it somehow undermines NATO. Everybody understands the importance of collective defense. Everybody understands the importance of NATO as a strong alliance, and this is mutually beneficial for both, for the United States and for Europe. That's why I am absolutely believe and confident it's not end at all, but discussions certainly will go on. Latvia's position is clear in this regard: collective defense, and Greenland as a territorial part, of course, of the Danish Kingdom.
And some countries, of course, are sending troops for deterrence and surveillance. What is Latvia doing?
Well, we once more underline the willingness to contribute to the collective defense of NATO, also in the high north. High north and the Arctic is strategically important, and we fully realize it, and we are in different NATO missions. And if required, the Latvian troops or Latvian military presence, to some extent, also could be, of course, discussed and considered in Greenland. But of course, the request must be there. And yes, the mandate from the government and also the Latvian parliament should be given if there is some additional presence.
Okay, and Minister, of course, what about the war in Ukraine? Do you support the idea of an EU envoy for Russia? Is that a good idea?
Well, we have to speak from positions of strength. We have to realize what we are dealing with. So that's why, of course, now in this context, there are some peace efforts. And we also appreciate President Trump's efforts in this regard, and also the contribution by the EU, also the coalition of the willing. It is important that Europe is stepping up and Europe is demonstrating its willingness and strength to be part of the peace process. At the same time, let's realize what we are dealing with. So we always have to speak, negotiate, act from positions of strength. That's why the Europe stepping up is a crucial and primary task and goal for Europeans. Yes, we can engage in some diplomatic activities, but there must be some limits how far we can go. And of course, always strength is absolutely the basis we start from negotiations with Russia.
And just finally, we've seen that Latvia has reintroduced military subscription, compulsory military subscription for women. Would you like to see all EU countries follow suit?
First of all, Latvia thinks and invests and acts actively on strengthening our defense. This year, almost 5% from our GDP goes to defense investment, so it is crucial. It is a comprehensive defense. We want to involve as many people as possible. We have reintroduced conscription, obligatory, mandatory so far only for men. But there is discussion in Latvia on potentially expanding, also involving women. Women now are joining the conscription service on voluntary basis. In general, in our armed forces, around 20% are women. So we're very proud of these numbers, very proud of our soldiers who are contributing to defense and security of Latvia and NATO. So that's why, yes, a comprehensive defense, everybody is involved, everybody actively contributes.
Okay, Minister Sprūds, thank you so much for joining us this morning on Europe Today. Take care.